Counting down.
Yeah. How you guys doing? So today we got a pleasure of having District 9. We got District 9, Miss Ovita Thornton. Miss Ovita, I just want to say before we start, thank you for giving me and the community this opportunity to be able to sit down with you and talk life history, government talk, and everything that people might have a misconception about anything, what is dealing with you or what is dealing with our community. I want to thank you for coming on this platform to do that, man, because I think that the people knowing what the facts are and not the in-between talk, then it make it a whole lot better. It make life a lot more easy. Let me turn this around just a little bit right here. So I want to ask you.
First of all, thank you.
Oh yeah.
I know that I've been pushing back on this interview for a while. Never nothing personal. You know, I'm pretty low key.
Yes, ma'am.
But time is right now.
I'm glad. And I see you got a lot of people that was waiting to hear.
I hope I don't disappoint nobody.
But for the public, let me ask, who is Miss Ovita? What is your history? Where do you come from? How long you been into the government office? You know, kind of explain to them, who is Miss Ovita?
Actually, I'm originally from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
So
y'all won last night too.
Do we?
Yeah.
Yay. And so I do acknowledge that I'm not a blood-born Athenian.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since 1983.
1983.
I've raised all of my boys here, Corey, Travis, and Kyle. My husband is an Athenian. He brought me here when his grandmother got sick. We moved back to help her. And soon when she passed, we just stayed. It's funny, I made a joke with somebody else. I said, Willie brought me here, and then he left me.
Oh, yeah.
So, but Athens has been good to me. You've been good to me. I feel home. So even though the blood isn't running from Athens, I feel like I'm an Athenian. Went to Bethune-Cookman College in Daytona Beach, Florida. Founded by Mary McLeod Bethune, Historical Black College. I think that's when I really realized how important black issues are.
Yes, ma'am.
She founded a college with 7, well, they said 7, that's the legend, 7 girls and her son. Okay. But she founded Bethune-Cookman College, and look where it is now. It's a university. And there was one thing that I remember when I went to college on the finance store, and believe me, guys, I'm totally different. So if any old college folks are watching this, yeah, this is the new Ovita. Okay, but I do remember on the door it said, "Enter to learn, depart to serve," and that didn't resonate then. Seeing it going through classes and not going through classes. But since then, that's all I've done is serve.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you started out in what elected spot?
Oh, wow, yeah. I did 16 years on the school board.
16 years?
And it's funny, I never would have thought I would have been a commissioner. Never would have thought I would have been school board member for 16 years.
What district in the school board were you?
It was 9.
District 9?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it was an added district.
Okay.
So when they added, a few people asked me to run, and I ran and had no opposition that year. But they asked me to run because of my advocacy for children in school.
Yes, ma'am.
And primarily focusing on African American boys.
Okay.
I headed with other leaders in the community, the first community-sponsored summer school, where we sent kids who couldn't afford to go to summer school. That's before the school district paid for us, but it took almost 3 years to get that installed. And after that, the school district picked up the funding for summer school.
So after the school district, you jumped right into being a commissioner? Or?
I actually jumped right then. That was not my intent. I thought after the 6 years I've done my duty, and I got calls to run for District 9. I'm honored that people ask me to do these things, not that I wake up and say, oh, I'm going to do this. But it took me a whole year. It took me a whole year because I'm thinking what else I'm going to do besides politics. But this has been the best decision with all the bad and hard times. I know why. I think I know part of the answer why.
Yes, ma'am.
Black folk are where we are as a group. It's actually the school district and the commission are different. You would think they would be the same. But what is the same is the systems and the systems that are in place to hold us back. They're different, but the systems are the same. Black folk are just traditionally like trusting. And there's always a manipulation. And I tell everybody, one thing that I've learned, it's all about policy. Those policies can break you or make you.
Right.
And when they're wrong, somebody has to speak up for them. And that's the part that we miss, because usually when we figure out it's wrong, it's already been done.
So you've been in the commission how long?
This will be into my fourth year.
Fourth term?
Fourth term. So I'll be up for re-election in 2026.
2026. Awesome.
I did announce my candidacy at the July commission meeting.
Okay, awesome. So you're giving it another run.
I just feel like sometimes people die and they take away all this knowledge. It gets buried with them. The knowledge that I have now, which I did not have when I first started. I promise you I didn't have it. The knowledge that I have now, I want to make sure the things that I've worked with gets carried out. But more importantly, I want to take what I've learned and share it with somebody else or somebody else's, because too many people get in these spots and then they either retire or whatever, and they take all that information with them.
And the work never really gets
And then
complete.
the work never gets done. And we got to realize that we're all not going to be here forever. So once we accept that, I want to do workshops in this upcoming term. I want to teach people about the charter. I want to teach people about how SPLOST works. We are just so good-hearted that we trust the people that are in office. Nobody's going back educating the folk. This is why this happens, and this is why that happens.
Yes, ma'am. Fourth term, going into it again.
Yeah.
God is good, ain't it? I know recently, well, not recently,
2 years ago.
about 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, you had an incident,
Yes.
dealing with a DUI.
Yes.
And I guess it's some good and some bad with it. The good thing is, the bad thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to let you talk on the good part and explain to the people the good part. But I think the bad thing about it is I sat there and watched all the local publications, these little online things, and they tried to do everything to make, in their eyes, Miss Ovita guilty. I mean, they talked about you. They found the worst picture of you. They did everything to try to make Miss Ovita feel bad. And mind you now, from my understanding from the research that I done, you have never been to jail, never had to experience that. I think one of your sons went to calling you Gangster Granny. But you've never been in jail, never been in trouble with the law. And it saddened me to see the online local people that control the online article slander you like that. I don't think they understand how much work that you have done. And it's crazy, but I don't think they understand how much work you have done for the Athens community, all the way from the school district, the 16 years on the school district, up until now being a commissioner. I don't think they really understand how much work that you have put into this community. Even I don't even know it all, because you're not the type of person that goes out and brag and broadcast and do all that stuff. So I hate that you had to go through that. And listening to the experience of you having to go in a cell and lay there, and all, I mean, I think personally that it was done all wrong. But the good part about it is, they was wrong.
Yeah. I appreciate you reaching out to me at that time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you wanted me to tell my story then, and I chose not to. And I chose not to for several reasons. One, I missed my deadline for suing the government.
So that was an option.
That was an option, but I missed that year to sue them. I think you had I don't even know what you call it.
Yeah.
But the other reason, and I'm not mad even at my attorney for not pushing it. I was so stressed out at that time. I just wanted it to be over with. I never thought a DUI that was never proven would take almost 2-3 years to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be real clear about this. This could have been dropped after the second test came back. See, they're talking about there was 2. So there was a test that I refused to take, but that's a whole, and I can give you the details on why. But the second test I took, because this is what I said to myself.
That's the one that actually went to the GBI.
Yeah, that's the one that went to the GBI. And the only reason, because I got ready to fight that little officer too. If anybody ever go back and look at that video. And I remember 2 voices. Denise Brightwell, give credit where, and Hattie Lawson. And when I was about to let loose, I heard them saying, "Woman of God, calm down. Woman of God, calm down." And there was witnesses and people standing around, and I did calm down. There was one officer that stepped up to me. He said, "Miss Ovita, it's going to be okay." Talked to me like it was a big guy too, you know. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He said he heard it on the radio. I can't understand, one, why the officer left and came back. I can't understand why he had
my
to.
opinion, but
I was okay. I wasn't. It was no DUI. It was no question. It was that I hit the curb. That was all. Mm-hmm. There was no reason for him to even think. This was 4:00 in the afternoon. I had just left First American Church, trying to get ready for a housing conference. Mm-hmm. 4:00 in the afternoon, just left church. When he realized that, when I said, "Well, I'm okay, my car's okay," he left and came back. He gave me the stand on your knee and all, and then I even agreed, because I didn't want it to happen again. I said, "Well, I will take a breathalyzer." Guess what, Charles?
What?
Nobody had a breathalyzer kit. That's what forced them to take me. I think they think I was about to have a nervous breakdown because they took me to the hospital first.
It had to be traumatized. You never been in trouble with the law, and all of a sudden you're surrounded with 4 officers that possibly are accusing you of drink. And mind you guys, everybody that watching, mind you, the DUI was dismissed. They was quick to say that she was DUI in their local newspaper, but they never came back and clarified that she was not guilty. So I just want to say that for the camera and the people that's watching, so you guys know that she was found not guilty. But go ahead, Ms. Thornton.
But even when that test came back, the solicitor had the opportunity. I'm talking about Mr. Fleener. He had the opportunity to drop that charge. Mm-hmm. He didn't. He tagged it.
Even after the GBI results came back that you wasn't DUI, he still didn't want to drop it.
He did not drop the charge. So that meant when I went to court, they dropped it then. And I'm going to skip through some of that because I've always been a supporter of the police. I've always believed in public safety. The sheriff's department, the police department, probation department, I get it. Mm-hmm. I totally get it. And when I heard so many complaints, some from your broadcast, mm-hmm. about police, misbehavior or whatever, I'm like, man, well, maybe, trying to rational out who we have serving. I have a different thought. I still support public safety, but it is now to investigate and see what is really going on in our police department. And I will say this because it's public knowledge, but nobody printed it, and I thank you because you wanted to, and you wanted to do the research. I'm getting all my charges mixed up here. Mm-hmm. The first charge, they insisted that I go to court. No, wanted me to plead guilty. And I'm like, no, I'm not pleading guilty.
That's what normally what they do. That's normally what I know you ain't a career criminal. So you probably don't know that, but normally what they do when the police arrest you, you got the prosecutors or the district or whoever that comes to you and say, hey, look, you got arrested for such and such. Let's go ahead and plead you out. Because they want to get it close. They don't care if you're guilty or not guilty. You feel what I'm saying?
That was the big, I'm like, no. I said, no, I did act a little strange, but I wasn't drunk, Mm-hmm. And come to find out, it was my medications. I had just been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It was that. And I had my doctor's statement, and so no, I'm not pleading guilty. But they drugged that thing out, and like you said, I don't have no criminal record. So I thought there was going to be some negotiation. I hit a pole. So charge me with hitting the pole, but don't put DUI on my record. But they were adamant. They were so adamant. They brought the head prosecutor from Gwinnett County to prosecute me. And even the judge said, this is unusual that you have the head prosecutor to prosecute you. And she was, cordial, but she was black. I figured that played a part in it. I hate to say it. But she was determined to find me guilty or for me to plead to guilty. She was determined. Charles, the only thing that saved me without going through a trial, and my attorney was worried about my nerves, could I handle it? He found out that the arresting officer was on probation currently as that day.
Wait. The officer that allegedly arrested you.
Not
right?
allegedly.
It ain't allegedly.
She arrested me.
Oh, it was a lady.
Yeah.
The officer that arrested you was on probation
For smoking THC.
The officer that pulled you over and tried to charge you with DUI when you weren't drinking was already on probation herself for smoking THC.
I don't know if you're smoking now, but that's what it was.
I guess that's what it is. I don't smoke either, but she was on.
And the other officer, I guess he got a little nervous because when he got to talk, he said, "Oh, Miss Ovita's, she's a friend to the police." Well, and my lawyer was like, "Well, did you see alcohol in the car?" "No, sir." "Did she stagger?" "No, sir." "Did you smell alcohol on her?" "Sir, I had lost my smell during COVID. I cannot smell." So these were the people that arrested me.
So this off the subject right here. I think I'm gonna follow up with the chief of police to see who was this officer that arrested you, the female that arrested you, and how was she still, if she done been found guilty of being, she had to be found guilty.
She was found so guilty, she had to pay a $300 fine, and she had to take some random drug tests.
How can you pull somebody over for drug and alcohol and you on it? I mean,
well, that's what happened. But nobody can ever say Ovita was vengeful or whatever. I first of all had to recoup. I first of all had to get me back together. I did not need fire and brimstone at that time.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a very strong person, but I know my limitations, and I know if we had unraveled that then, I probably would have had some type of nervous breakdown. But the good part of it is now, that's going to be one of my platforms when I run. We need to make sure that the officers that are on the street are the officers that are there to serve with not bringing their own issues. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but that's going to be public safety and the courts. We fund those. The government. I paid this lady to arrest me that was on probation. But if you did it to me, what do you do to people who have no platform and no voice? I think they've been sitting on edge waiting for me to go, no. We used to have that saying, you remember that saying, what would Jesus do? My response is, he prayed. It is no way in the world that would have been, and was nobody in the courtroom to record it. Wasn't no audience or anybody. So, and nobody looked into it. After it came out, they cited me for recklessness, which I agreed to. That's what I had agreed to the 2 years earlier.
I got to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Never being in trouble, never going to jail, never putting on handcuffs in your life. How did it feel sitting in that holding cell? Cause I can't. How did it feel for you when you went in that holding cell? When I got the call, I was already calling jail. I need out of there. What a bond is. I mean, I was on. You already know I was on top of it. So, but I want to know in your personal, cause you never been through that before. You never been through that before.
It is nothing. I don't know how criminals are criminals, okay? When somebody tells you to take all your clothes off, I'm almost 100 years old, wrinkles everywhere, right? Take off your clothes and then scoot and push to make sure you ain't got nothing up your ass. You know what I mean? To have somebody stand there and just look at you do, I think that is probably the most humiliating thing in the world. I will never, ever be in that position again. That night, sleeping, going to sleep, there was a deputy. And she said to me, and I think it's what made me sleep. She said, Miss Ovita, don't ask why. Ask God what you need to learn from it. Do you know I slept like a baby on that little hard cot? And then the next day, I guess I missed breakfast because then he had to go before the judge. And when I saw him, I didn't even know I had to do all of that. I didn't know I had to go before a judge. I didn't know I had to post, but I didn't know none of that. I've been there for other people, but I've never known the process. And screen, the judge was there. And when I looked, I think I saw some of your folk out in the courtroom, but my attorney was there, and I'm like, how did he know to be here? He looked like an angel sitting there. But one thing he said to me when we did talk later, he said, I don't know who those people were. He said, but they offered to pay your bail.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know that I didn't know it at that time because I didn't know who the people were. But I didn't know none of that stuff. Everything I did, Charles, I did on faith. Hung in there when it didn't make no sense to me. If I tell you I didn't cry every night, if I didn't take the deputy's advice. I started asking why me. I missed my big event the next day.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I missed my big event, but you know what? That nice police officer, he let me get on and call folk before they put me in cell to tell them I wouldn't be there. So.
Well, I want a person to say, and I don't know if the police department even said this or not, but I want a person to say, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Because knowing your history and knowing what all you have done for this community, I'm sorry you had to go through that. It's like seeing
no
my
sorry
mama
from no sorry from nobody. Everybody's life just went on like it never happened. My life will never be the same. Period. I'm not saying I'm around here like freaking out, but my life will never be the same. So I'm not suggesting that everybody in the police department are bad people. That's the last thing. I still support police. I still do. But maybe we need a deeper dive.
I think the one thing that we need is to probably ask the police department when they falsely arrest people. Because I just went through it too. Mm-hmm. I was falsely arrested, and the charges were dismissed. So I know Willie Green went through a false arrest, and his charge was dismissed. And it goes on and on. You know, other peoples in the community that have been falsely arrested, beat the charge. I think that somebody need to be saying they sorry because they don't know what they're doing mentally to a person when they place them in handcuffs and arrest them for nothing. Somebody need to start being held accountable. Okay, you made a false arrest. So at least have the courtesy to say a public apology and say, hey, we made the wrong decision, we're sorry. Even if you just text it to me, you can just text it to me. You know, text it to me, hey man, I'm sorry.
I think you are absolutely right. I never, like I said, I was in so much stress at that time. But I do think there should be some compensation or some recognition when people have been arrested, charged, or whatever you want to call it, and acknowledge the mental breakdown or the post-traumatic syndrome folk feel. But that's going to be one of my platforms coming up.
Awesome.
And so you get to talk about it. Anyway, you've been wanting to talk. He's been wanting, guys. He has been wanting me to tell my story.
Because I just don't think, and I'm for fairness. If don't nobody know this by now, they should know. I'm for fairness. And I didn't like seeing, not just because I have a relationship with you, I just didn't like seeing a person being slaughtered. And we got people in the community that go through the same thing that you went through.
The same
false
thing.
arrests and everything. And I didn't like to see, be local newspaper, flagpole, Burning Herald.
It went to Channel 5 News.
I mean, I didn't like to see that they took the liberty to try to destroy somebody who was falsely arrested. And you never, and like I said before, you never see them come back and say, did you ever see an article ever come out that say Commissioner Thornton was falsely arrested or the charges been dismissed? You don't never see that. They make the bad look bad in order to get the views or the likes or whatever they do, but they never come back with the good part of the story because the good stuff don't get views and likes and you know what I'm saying? So
I would have even have appreciated the chief coming to me and saying what happened. You know what I mean? Because it was, to me, it was not just these officers. It was a domino effect of everything that went wrong. It wasn't just her. It really wasn't. And like I said, if I went into more detail, I could show you who all had their hand in this and never spoke up.
Well, like I
That's
said,
the worst of the interview, right?
Yeah. I just want to say I still, on behalf of the citizen and actor, man, and a community leader, I want to say that I'm sorry you had to go through that. I sincerely sorry. And you know I hate that you went through it. If I was there trying to get you out, making sure you was okay. So I want to say that I'm sorry.
I didn't know who it was at the time, but my attorney came and told me.
Yeah. But I hate that you had to go through that. I mean, because the people in the community love you, and we appreciate the work and the fight that you have done over the year for this community. So
thank you.
I want to say that. Moving to another subject. A lot of talk, it's been a lot of chatter throughout the social media platforms about this vote about the block. The vote that came up the other night about the block. And I noticed that you made a motion. You made a motion to table it so all parties can come to the table and discuss, you know, the situation and try to work together. I want to not to single nobody out. I ain't gonna disrespect nobody. I'm not gonna single nobody out. But I want to ask you something. If you can answer it. If all the parties right now was to come back to the table, right? If they all was to come back, if the owner and the peoples in the community, they all came back to the table and said, let's sit down and talk, guys. If y'all don't want to go, even after the vote have been passed, hey guys, if y'all don't want the garden or whatever, what would y'all recommend that we put there or to make the community better so we can make our community look great? Would that be an option where they could go back to the commission and say, hey, we want to pull that proposal and do this?
It wouldn't be an option because it's a PD. And even Dr. Allen acknowledged that PD from 1996. The garden is written in there. Mm-hmm. But what I think, and I made that because it was heated. It was just heated. Everybody's emotions, and everybody knows you don't make good decisions when you're emotional. You don't. There was history that I tried to share, but I think it was misunderstood. But it was history. It ain't nothing I made up about the transition of that block. But what I do think would be helpful is all parties coming back around the table, say, okay, this done passed, blah, 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 blah. But now how are we going to fix all of East Athens? Or what would be the strategy? Right now, and I said this that night, East Athens has a TAD. Nobody, and I even asked how much was in the TAD to one of the staff people.
It's supposed to be 70. They don't move the money?
No, it's still there. I just wanted to say it. So we got the TAD. The 2023 T-SPLOS has a lot of money for traffic calming. I think this would have been the perfect, if we had to replay it, how can we, because because you're never going to be assured that that property will not. This is what folk are scared about, and I'm scared too. You're never going to be assured that that property is not going to resell and rezone for something else. That's the.
I mean, the plan already. I don't know if you know that, but the plan already. I seen the plan is already wrote for the.
And this is my point. That would have been the place that we could come around the table. Someone commented on your Facebook thing, and I'm sure she's watching. One way you solve problems is to expose it. When you go to AA, you got to acknowledge that you are an alcoholic. When you have a group of people who says, oh no, there's no problem, there's no threat, it's a problem and there's a threat. You may not know what it is. So going around the table, if folk want to really save this community, both sides still have an opportunity to put some stuff in place. But
I think what really discouraged the community, you know, I listened to and I watched a lot of people, older and younger people, come to that podium and express how they feel about that being revamped over there. And I also listened to these people say, we wasn't included in this. We're not against it, but let's not do this like this. People are missing the pick. I've seen a lot of comments elsewhere from the stragglers that don't know the whole full story of it. Say, why are they attacking the owner that's doing this? And if you notice the owner wasn't getting attacked. And they even said it standing up at the podium, like, let's table it. Let's wait for 30 days so everybody can be included in the conversation.
I'm going to be as public and honest as I can be. I sent an email the next day to mayor and commission.
After the vote.
After the vote. The next day. And I expressed my concern because you have both sides, the owner and the community, willing to sit down or table it for 30 days. Both.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. So why did the committee? I know you can't talk for everybody.
I can't do that. I will say this though. I have never, and maybe I missed it because sometimes I nod. Maybe I missed it, but I do not never know a request to table for 30 days.
And the parties agreeing. First of all, the parties didn't even have to agree, really. You just had to make that recommendation, but that's an added piece. The parties agreeing to put on the table. I've never seen that before. I've never seen it. And if I was like, well, maybe, that's very significant to me. Now, I sent the email out because I tell you about me. Like I said, I'm very low key. You ain't gonna see me out here raising a whole bunch of stuff. That ain't gonna happen unless I have, push come to shove. But every thought that I have that I don't agree with the majority, I usually send an email. Not to raise no fuss, because if I want to raise fuss, I would do it publicly like that. But I just want people to think, whatever you did not want to table it, what did it look like to the community? It may not have been that, but what did it look like to the community? Now, I'll tell you another time something like this happened. When there was a purchase on Nottingham, those little older black people and a couple of young people came and spoke against it, and it passed. So I remember stuff like that. When do you not listen to the people that elected you? When do you stop listening to them? When you got a room full of people from I'm just gonna use the East Side for example. When you got a room full of people from that district come in now, we don't want it, but we'll be willing to sit down for 30 days. You know what I'm saying? We don't want the garden, and they said they don't want it. I mean, so, but they said we are willing to sit down and let's talk with the owner or whoever we need to talk to for 30 days. If you got
two willing parties
willing to do this, how did it become why did you debate that? So I'm gonna tell you something that how I feel. Personal feeling got into this. Personal feeling. You couldn't have been thinking about the people that elected you. You couldn't have been thinking about the people in the community, because if you did, it's supposed to went your table in it. That your table vote supposed to went on. I mean, everybody's supposed to vote for it. Everybody.
I was. Honest to goodness, I was surprised. I really probably overstepped myself a little bit. Because I tried to give some back history of the projects, but I still was totally surprised, and I was kind of hurt and embarrassed because those folks who spoke, I'm closer to them than I am to some other folk, you know. So yeah, it surprised me. But I do think it's not too late if folk really want to save the East Side. If this is not another step to gentrification, with the other tools in the toolbox, the TAD, the T-Splosh, that money that's going to come from the Housing Trust Fund, there's still room. We've got to learn how to use the tools that we have.
So,
now wait a minute. Let me be clear. I don't have a plan, but I'm telling you about those three tools.
I was just saying. You know what I was
going to say. I don't have a plan, but I'll tell you the reason I can say about those three tools. The T-Splosh process was a tool for my district.
Yes, ma'am.
And I used it. I used it so that one meeting I went screaming and hollering.
So is this money accessible now? Can the community start getting together now?
They should.
I mean, is the money the reason why I'm asking that? Because I just want to know if the money accessible now. Maybe we can get Dr. Allen and Inner East Athens to do surveys to the people and see what they want.
Let me tell you, they're doing that, but it's very exclusive. You got to go and jump on these people. I'll be honest with you. When I asked about my T-Splosh project after a meeting had nothing to do with it, a staff person said, Commissioner, it's going to be a while before you see them projects. I said, no, it's not. And I just walked away.
And that's why you got projects from 2019 that haven't been done because...
No, 2011.
2000, you got projects from 2011 that haven't been done because nobody pushed. That money just sitting there and nobody pushing to get that help.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying, being proactive. When that staff person said that to me, I know what he's saying to other folk. My projects went for a work session May 2025. It was approved June 2025. My projects are on. Now, they still might be trying to slow it up, but mayor and commission has already approved all of my projects. And so that's what I'm saying. If when I talk about systems, they will make you go through all these hoops and loops until you get tired. But
so we need to start getting this stuff rolling. I mean, there should be no reason why this stuff is just being held up.
The East Side TAD, we had to fight for that. You had folk on the commission that said that the East Side wasn't ready for a TAD. They had to be educated. Guess who's got the most money, I believe, right now in their TAD? It's the East Side.
Yeah.
Because it's tacked on to downtown. And when you have to go through all this, say what you want, stick to what you want until you get it. That's what Miss Cora taught me. Miss Cora taught me, an old soldier. Know what you want. Know who got it. Don't leave until you get it. So I had to fight for this.
So we need to get with the community, because none of this need to be done without the community on the east side. We got.
They got a committee, but those committee meetings are all open. You have input to those committee folk. You should not be stopped because they say, oh, it's a committee meeting. You should be talking all along. District 9, I ain't gonna call no. Every time I call somebody's name, I get in trouble. So I ain't gonna. I have folk that spoke up. I may have to call them and say, this going on. But that's not. I
think what would be a good idea is for the community, the peoples in the community, to put together a list of the things that they would like to see. What it is, $70 million, right? That I know just with the TAD. What they would like to see happen with the east side with the $70 million. I know a lot of people said this morning, I was looking at some comment, daycare centers, grocery store, those type of things that will help our community out.
The same way the city invests in these so-called master plans, and these master plans only service, we should have our own master plan. This is what we want it to look like.
Right.
We should not go in there and look at pictures on the wall and say, oh, I like that trail. We need to have a master plan of what the east side. My work in the past with the Georgia, and that's why I guess I'm a little different. My work with the Georgia Clients Council allowed me to work in communities like that. If you need to find a facilitator, you don't have to use their facility, find your own facilitator, because whoever pays you is probably going to say what you want. I shouldn't say that. But where is the community's master plan at? That's what I want to do. I had to move some things out of the way for District 9. And it has taken every bit of these 4 terms. Nothing was easy. But we need to have a District 9 master plan that should overlay or match the government's plan.
Speaking of District 9, what have you, since you've been the commissioner 4 terms, right, in District 9, what have you accomplished for the District 9 area since you've been there? Because I know Kelly Gertz was actually the commissioner before you got there, right?
He was the commissioner before me. I went to the mayor and I said, Mayor, a lot didn't happen. I said, but that's okay. I said, because I thought he was going to work with me. That didn't happen. But that didn't happen. So what I've had to do in these years is moving stuff and being persistent. Like I said, this is not mine. This is our improvement projects for District 9. It's in black and white now. It's been voted on. Now, what I got to make sure of is staff is moving it. It's been voted on. Don't tell me, oh, we couldn't get a contractor or we couldn't If you got a problem on this, and I'll leave that with you.
And do you have to follow,
I do.
No, I'm saying when you got this plan, you done told them what you want to see happen with District 9 and it's in this plan. Do you have to go back? I mean, after you done, first they work for y'all. So once y'all put this into play, do you have to go back and say, hey, look, what happened with such So,
and let me give you the best example in the world. Remember when they made all that noise about the North Avenue corridor?
Yeah.
Made all that noise because they had another plan. I believe that with all my heart. But when the community got involved, all of a sudden, oh, we can't finish this by 2026. But guess what? They knew that in 2023. So they were still going through the conceptual plans, the designs, like something was going to happen. But when the community got involved, so why didn't you tell us that in 2023? So it is a matter of, and I'm not going to be ugly with the staff.
But Miss Ovita,
but the manager's office is where everything drops.
Okay, so I understand that. We just got a new manager.
That's right.
So it's going to be interesting for the public to see how this going to be managed now. Because it's obvious y'all got a lot of staff problems. Not commissioner problems. You got a lot of staff problems. I mean, you can't hide this stuff no more. Not you personally. I'm just saying the government can't hide this stuff.
I told you before, you and I talked outside of politics. And you know I agree with you sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, we ain't talking about that right now, Charles. But one thing I can tell you, whether people think, whatever they think, good or bad, if we had a platform years ago, like we do now with you, things would be a little bit different. Now let me say this. All you can do is broadcast it or share it. It still is going to take the community to get them to do the work. And that's what has been missing, the community doing the work. But you can't do the work if you don't know what the work is. And so I admire people commenting, but there's no excuse now because you don't open the door of information as far as where to find stuff at. So now folk got to say, well, what's next? And on my website, I am going to start having a questionnaire so people can click and find stuff. Much easier than it is on the city website. But now you've given us, there's no more excuses. Now, the question is it too late? And I never think it's too late.
I want to ask you all, because I know we got to go, but I want to ask you, what's next? What's next for Miss Ovita? What's next for District 9? What's next in life? What's next for you?
The one thing I want to do is see those projects come to fruition. Because just like I told you, we voted on it, but it still can get lost. I'm sitting on those projects like a hen on an egg's nest. It's going to hatch. Second thing I would like to do, and I think I mentioned too, I want to look at our police department and not to show no shade, but where is the community in relationship to the police department? Is the police department our friends, or are they new enemies? And so I think there's some conversation that needs to happen there. The things that I want to see in District 9, which probably, and that's why I need this next term, I want to see on the SPLOS a recreational facility. We don't have no recreational facility.
Well, in District 9? Oh, District 9.
District 9. I supported Commissioner Johnson getting that SPLOS money to do something. She didn't have it either, you know. I try to support all the other districts as well as my own. So I want to see a recreation center. District 9 is growing. We should have a substation, a police substation in District 9. It could be a trailer park, you know, but we need where police officers can get to situations in a timely manner out in Nowhere Road and Smoky Road and out in the boom. Crime is going on out there. That's a new place for the drug folk to be at. They know the police can't get out there that fast, you know. So I want to see a recreation center. I want to see a police department. I want to see those projects come alive. And then I want to take one thing I want you to pay attention to is data centers. We have a data center now in District 9, which I did not know about. It was built by Wright. It has some negative effects in the community. So we got to monitor that and figure out how to handle that. So I want to be a place where when constituents call me, I get back with them in at least 48 hours. And that might need some help. I might need somebody to help me with some stuff. The 3 things that I mentioned as far as platforms, but I know there are other things that folk in District 9 want that I may not be aware of, so I want to make sure I have that.
So you got real access to the peoples in District 9 where you can, I know for one, because me and you rode around in District 9 one weekend, so I know you're out there and you're talking to the individual and seeing what's the problem. When that boy we rode around?
Last storm?
That last storm.
Yeah.
We got in the car together and we rode around and got out and spoke with the residents. Hey, look, y'all okay? I mean, that's caring.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get, people don't understand, when you get in these positions, don't just get in these positions to hold the title. Get in these positions because you want to make things better.
You know, one of the things that people might misunderstand as a commissioner, commissioners technically, you call me all the time about folk. Oh, and let me put on my list, homelessness is going to be an issue.
You don't play about my homeless people.
I ain't messing with your homeless people. I ain't messing with your homeless people. What I want people to understand is that as a commissioner, we're not caseworkers and social workers. We're policy folk. And but I should be able to tell you where you get that service from. I don't have to come in there and, hands-on and, stuff like that. But there needs to be a place where that service is at. So homelessness is on my radar still too. I got a lot of ideas, and I hope that God lets me live long enough to.
That's why I'm glad I was able. Well, first step, me and my organization was able to put together that big meeting.
Oh my God!
With all y'all elected officials, the community leaders, and people that hold voices in the community. I'm glad we was able to do that, to bring y'all out. I mean, because we got issues going on with kids. We got issues going on with homelessness. We got issues going on with affordable housing. We got issues now on the east side. So it's a lot of issues. And I'm glad that you guys, the commissioners and housing authority and all you guys attended this meeting that my organization had, man, to actually sit down and let's discuss how we going to fix our city.
I told you about systems. And I know you just, everybody wants to address the housing, but you got to figure out the system and how you tweak it. So I'm on the GET committee, which is the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. I think I told you about that. And it's connected to DCA, which is part of the system, which is connected to HUD, which is part of the system. But with the folk that you brought together who expressed interest in housing, and then looking at the manufacturing housing, the tiny homes, and my job now is to plug it into the system.
That's right.
That's what my job is. I don't have to, guess what? I don't even have to do the work. I just really, and that's what when I did my presentation that night. Mm-hmm. But if you're not plugged into the system, or if you don't revamp the system, you could have a great idea, a great project. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Even with your homeless encampment, great program. But the folk who's in charge of the system didn't let it flow like it should have. Great program. I say it all the time. Even then, because I was hesitant about that whole thing, but after it went through, this is me. When something passes, I support it. That's how I operate.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I can say, I knew where 55 folk were at. Now there might be another 20 out there. I don't, but I knew where 55 were at. I knew where 55 was getting meals at. I knew where 55 were getting their clothes washed. I knew where 55s were getting an opportunity for housing. I knew where 55 had an opportunity to get a job. That I know. See, that's fact stuff. It had nothing to do, but all this other, well, that's a whole nother conversation.
I don't think a lot of people understood too that, and I'm just gonna say this and we're gonna wrap it up, but a lot of people, that wasn't in the contract. That wasn't in my contract with my organization for me to get anybody housed, anybody jobs, none of that. It's because I love this community so much, and I love the homeless people so much. The underserved people, I ain't gonna keep calling the underserved people so much that I went beyond, and people don't even know that I took half of what the money I had every week and gave back to them. Staff appreciation, cookout, all that, going up to Atlanta buying tennis shoes for all my staff, having big cookout, all that stuff. Every week I took half of what I had and gave back to the community.
We have to be real honest about ourselves. Do we really want to help folks? Because I'm gonna be, from my point of view, poverty creates wealth. Because if you have folk that are in these positions and they don't even come out their office, but they still get a check, they're creating wealth. That's my position. I hope I haven't offended no. I've been real careful to be.
You did an awesome job. And like I said, we really appreciate all the work and the years you have put into the city of Athens, coming from Philadelphia.
Really left me.
And also too, I wanted you to say, and I know I tell you this all the time, and I said it when it happened. I'm sorry about the loss of your husband, man. I'm sorry about that. I personally had a chance to meet Willie. Done been to my house, so
yeah.
I personally had a chance to meet Willie, man. Great guy, love him to death, man. And he really loved you.
He did.
And to see you still fighting, trying to do stuff for this community, I think that he's smiling because he know this is your passion.
He used to tell me, I mean, these people don't appreciate you. They don't appreciate you. But what he never told me, he never said you should stop, leave him alone. It was a joke when he said it. They don't appreciate you, but keep on doing what you do. But guess what? Some people do appreciate me.
Exactly. So I just wanted to say that. And I want to say thank you again for coming on the platform. We love you in this community. A lot of the up and coming generation don't understand a lot of this stuff now. And I'm just being real. But to see now younger people, because I get messages all the time.
I know.
Mr. Hardy, that's real information. Where do I go to go speak on this? Now the younger generation is catching on. Like, we got to get involved, because if we don't get involved, it's going to hurt our kids coming up behind us. So I love to see that now the younger generation is now getting involved and want to know about this stuff. Not saying they want to be politicians, but they want to get involved with the issues in our community. So that would make me feel good. I said it the other night, that it sent chills up my arm knowing to see some of the people that came down to speak in front of y'all. I'm like, man, I'm not in this fight by myself now. It's like they are my saviors. They coming to help me. You know what I'm saying?
And if we take that group, put it with the Nottingham group, put it with the Pitted Road group, with the water, because they all came down. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
We got to bring because all of their concerns are the same. Nottingham might have been about housing. Pitted Road might have been about the water. East Athens might be about the block. But guess what? They all are the same, and they got to change the system. And we can do that.
Yes, ma'am. In closing, anything you want the people to know, anything, we know you running for re-election. When does it start?
Have no idea.
Y'all running for re-election.
Have no idea.
So, anything.
I will say, if people have an issue or they think something before the election starts, just let me know.
Yeah.
People jump out there because they think something didn't happen or why it didn't happen. Let me know. I'll be honest with
you. In one sentence, for the people in District 9, because District 9 is the only one that you have to vote in your district for people if you don't know. In one sentence, tell the people why they need to vote for Miss Ovita. In one sentence, not one word, one sentence. Tell her why we need to vote for Miss Ovita. Let them know.
I think it's going to be my theme. Resiliency reaps results. District 9 has been ignored forever. But we've been resilient. We've been revived. And we're going to get everything that is owed to us.
Awesome. Awesome. So, guys, there you have it. We got Miss Commissioner Ovita Thornton here with us today, man. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast and talking to the community. Guys, please share this video. Let everybody get to know who is Commissioner Thornton and the fight that she's fighting for Athens. And also let them, share it just so the story of what she have experienced while being in government and school board. Share the video and let people see that. Maybe we can get more of the young generation looking at stuff like this and they want to get involved, because eventually Miss Ovita, myself, whoever, we're going to eventually fade off. Guys, just to let you know, we're going to eventually fade off. It's going to be over with. And we're going to need these new up-and-coming leaders to get involved. Start knowing about the politics, knowing about the policies, what need to be changed. We're going to need for them to fill our shoes for all the work that we done put in. Somebody got to tote the torch. Because if nobody tote the torch in Athens, we're going to have a whole bunch of bike lanes. We're going to have a whole bunch of fire trails. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff that don't make no sense for the people that was born and raised here in Athens, Georgia. So we need for you guys to start getting involved in this, man, because like I said, we can't do it alone, man. And eventually it's going to become a time that we're going to have to move on and let somebody else take that torch. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. We're gonna keep a watch. Maybe I need to sit down with the community leaders over on the east side and let us start putting a plan. Like, you see how you did fight for District 9? Mm-hmm. Put together a plan so we can start getting that $70 million
ahead of time.
Yeah.
And if you, we'll talk.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We love you, and make sure you share the video. Bye-bye.